Good evening and welcome to episode 77 of the Jacksonian. I'm yours truly, Jadson Johnson, and I'm here with the co-host of Clemson Tigers Live and the All-In Show, the one and only himself, Tiger Paul Craven from Clemson at the Voice of College Football, as we'll be going over our take on the Clemson Tigers going into 2025. And let me tell you something, folks, it's going to be a wild ride. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Jackson. Really do appreciate it, and look forward to diving into the Tigers tonight and letting everybody know what we think about the upcoming 2025 season.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one for sure. Because like the defensive staff's gonna be looking really good, and there's so much other stuff we'll definitely be looking forward to for sure. And for those who don't know about you, just like tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm obviously like everybody that's probably watching your show right now. I'm a diehard Clemson fan. I'm a diehard college football fan first and foremost, but obviously Clemson is my team. Um, from very young, I grew up going to football games with my dad. Went to, grew up in Charleston and went to a lot of Citadel games and obviously a lot of Clemson games as well. But, I'm a retired out of the military. I still work with the military every day. So that's kind of my background and what I do on a daily basis. But my hobby is getting to talk about college football on Clemson at the Voice of College Football, which is a great platform that Mark has given both me and Jordan. And I think our show has been, it has evolved over the years, and it's become something that we're pretty proud of and pretty excited to hop on every week and chop it up with our audience and our fan base and get to talk about our Clemson Tigers. And it always amazes me that people want to hear our opinion about the Clemson Tigers. So that's always a humbling thing, but it's also a very exciting and motivating thing at the same time. So, yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, Clemson Tigers Live with you and Jordan, that's been the longest aired show within the network. Like, wow, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you reached out about doing, this episode and we were going to touch on the kind of how long that show's been running. Honestly, I didn't even realize until that moment that we were entering our fourth season of covering Clemson football for Clemson at the Voice of College Football and doing, the post game live reactions to every video and, you know, the all in show has been going on for almost that entire period of time. So it's kind of crazy to think back and realize that we've been doing it that long. But again, super humbled and grateful that we get to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. Like, it's like, we'll definitely make sure that there's an episode of you and Jordan where we celebrate the fourth season of Clemson Tigers Live if technical difficulties aren't messing around with us. So it's like, good grief. But no worries. That's the technical difficulties on my end.
Hey, StreamYard never fails to strike or throw a wrench into the plan every now and then. So
We're breaking the fourth wall here, all right here on the Jacksonian.
that's right.
Oh, oh man. But that 2024 season, I want to give a look back at that right quick. So I kept thinking about like how there were two moments that I thought about. It was Clemson getting a game-winning touchdown with Cade Klubnik, and then like getting a at the buzzer win against SMU in the 2024 ACC title game. And those were two games that heard Sean McDonough throw out his puberty voice for both those games.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of those games were very interesting parts of Clemson's season for a lot of different ways, but really honing in on that ACC championship game and how big of a win that was for Clemson and the fashion really that they won the game in. It was a way that I think every Clemson fan, if you told them they were going to have to kick a 50-plus yard field goal to win the ACC championship game, they'd all been like, well, guess we just couldn't get it done, right? Because for anybody that didn't follow Clemson closely last year, we had about 87,000 kicks blocked. We could not figure out how to protect our kicker without every single kick almost being blocked. The kicker wasn't really the problem. So for that game to end in that fashion was absolutely insane, because I'm not going to lie. There may have been some Clemson fans out there, but when we had to trot the kicker out there for a 50-plus yard game winner, I was not very confident. I'm going to be honest. I did not think that kick was going through the uprights, but lucky for us, it did.
Yeah, because it was like when SMU made that comeback, they basically punched their ticket in the playoffs, so to speak, win or lose.
Yes.
And because I think a lot of people in ESPN kind of realize, okay, we're not going to put Bama in the playoffs this year because it's going to give us a bad look. Because it's like, yeah, you would have had like torches and pitchforks at your door for that. Right. But it was a pretty cool win for Clemson, and I know like 2025 should be overall a better year. Like one of the reasons being Tom Allen being the defensive coordinator. I mean, you snatched him from Penn State. That's a win right there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Getting Tom Allen on board is, I think, going to be one of those pivotal moments and one of those big time hires that Dabo has made over the years. When you think about some of the greatest hires that Dabo has made, Brent Venables is kind of that first name that comes to mind. And I'm not going to sit here and be one of the fans or the people that talk college football and compare Brent Venables and Tom Allen and saying that they're the same defensive coordinator. They're very different people. But the fact that Dabo can go out on a national defensive coordinator search and pull a name from Tom Allen with the pedigree that he comes with from a place like Penn State just shows the national brand that Clemson is, and that Dabo Swinney truly can pretty much go get whatever coach he wants when there's a vacancy on his staff, and that's part of the reason that it was such a puzzling move when he went with Wes Goodwin, a guy who had never called a defensive play before, never been a defensive coordinator. No shot at Wes Goodwin. He could have, it could have worked out and been amazing, but it just didn't. Anybody that watched Clemson's defense last year knows all the reasons that there had to be a change at the man running the show, and super happy, super excited as a Clemson fan to get this guy Tom Allen on. The energy that he injected that building with, the intensity, the way that he goes about connecting with his players so that he can coach them in a very tough way and hold them to a very high standard, I think is very refreshing. And I think it's going to turn around in a big way for this Clemson defense, because let's not forget this is not a defense that he's walking into that's devoid of any talent. There is plenty of talent on that roster. All over that defensive, those defensive starters and that defensive room period is just a ton of talent. And it was downright terrible at times last year. The lack of tackling, the poor angles, the poor effort that looked like it was on the field. And that's something that Tom Allen talked about when he first came in. And he's one of the things that I appreciate about him is that he's not shy, right? Like, he doesn't shy away from questions. When the media started questioning him back in spring, he was very honest. He said, I looked at the tape. The tape told me everything I needed to know. There needed to be wholesale change here, philosophy-wise, right? Like, he's like, we didn't practice good enough. So, yeah, of course they didn't play good enough because we weren't practicing good enough. So I like that he approaches it with that intensity. And I cannot wait to see what year one under Tom Allen looks like in this Clemson defense, because as I mentioned before, Jackson, he's got some dudes to work with.
Oh, he definitely does. I cannot wait to see what he can bring in 2025. I mean, I feel like this Clemson team is going to get some playoff wins in the playoffs.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, let's make no mistake about it. Clemson has gotten a ton of hype over the offseason. And that makes a lot of Clemson fans nervous, myself including, right? Anytime your team's getting all this praise, it makes you a little nervous, right? Like, hey, are the guys going to respond the right way? But I think, with the ACC media days and seeing those four leaders trot out there and Cade Klubnik, Antonio Williams, TJ Parker, and Peter Woods, they answered every question in the exact way that you would want to. They kept reiterating that, hey, we just got to go do it on the field. We just got to go do it on the field, right? So I think they're laser focused. I think they have a lot to prove, specifically on that defensive side of the ball this year, because just look at the second half of the season for Clemson's defense. The Citadel put 300 yards rushing up against them, okay? So if that tells you anything about how that Clemson defense was doing as far as stopping the run the second half of that season. So a lot of work to be done, but you're getting hyped for a reason. And I think it's real. And I think this Clemson team, it would honestly be disappointing if you didn't go to the playoffs and at least win a game in the playoffs. I think that would be a disappointment for this Clemson team. You got the number one, you're number one in the country for returning production this season. You have a team that is full of veteran leadership and guys that are hungry. I think one of the things that was a big part, you mentioned the 2024 season. One of the big things is I think the 2024 season was a stepping stone. It was one of those seasons that, these guys got a taste of the playoffs. And then a lot of them that could have went to the NFL decided to come back. And we kept that whole core of roster together. We didn't allow another team to come poach and tempt our guys with NIL. We were able to pony up enough money to keep the roster together, have great retention, add a guy in Will Helt on the defensive end, which we absolutely needed a starter. So I'm glad Clemson went out and got one of those. And now, hey, here we go. The season kicks off in less than a month. Week 1, we're going to find out a whole lot about you. And this is a team that should expect to go to the playoffs. And like you mentioned, Jackson, at least get a win. And if you don't, I think that would be a disappointment for this Clemson team. With all that you have coming back, it's not like Clemson will never have another good football roster again. But if you honestly look at all the players that will be exiting after this 2025 season, the sense of urgency is now for Clemson.
Oh, yeah. And we've got the schedule pulled up. So we've got Georgia Tech, Syracuse. I'm going to be up front and honest. They scare me a lot more than North Carolina. And I mean, I know that North Carolina has Bill Belichick, but it feels like they could be a 9-win team that has the look of a 7-win team because of the schedule, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. North Carolina doesn't really scare me a whole lot. I know they go out there and make probably the biggest splash hire that you could possibly make as a college football team, other than you just hired Nick Saban, right? They go and hire Bill Belichick, and that's fun to talk about in the media in the offseason and the whole thing. Jordan, with his his girlfriend there and all the drama that went on there with that interview and all the weird stuff that's gone on. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge believer in Bill Belichick at North Carolina. And I know that probably is going to make a lot of North Carolina fans mad, but I'm just being honest. And again, I could be wrong. I'm just a guy that watches a whole lot of college football and follows college football really closely, and it's just my opinion. But I just don't think Bill Belichick is that locked into North Carolina. I think if the NFL comes calling, he will be exiting to go back to the NFL. I think he would much prefer coach the NFL than he would to coach college football. Again, that's just my opinion. I don't know Bill Belichick. I've never talked to him a day in my life, so I don't know that for sure. That's just kind of how I feel about the situation. And his buyout is about as low as it could possibly be. He could write that check right now and not even miss it. So again, and then I think his son, he would want to usher his son in as kind of the guy to take over, and he just exits to the NFL and goes and does what he wants to do. But again, it may work in North Carolina. I just don't think it's going to. So that game really doesn't mean a whole lot.
And the buyout, where if he left North Carolina after January 1st was $10 million, but then as of June 1st of this year, he can leave North Carolina anytime, and he only has to pay $1 million. That's that's a change for him.
Yeah, he can leave North Carolina right now for $1 million. I mean,
it's insane.
That's nothing. That's nothing to him, especially if he's taking a job in the NFL. You think an NFL franchise ain't gonna be like, yeah, we'll pay $1 million to get Bill Belichick, right? So that's just what I think about the situation. So not really scared of North Carolina. Now, you mentioned that Georgia Tech game. That is a game that definitely worries me. Brent Key he's got something brewing down there in Atlanta with Georgia Tech. Make no mistake about it. They've beaten Clemson on a couple of recruits here lately. They had that offensive lineman last cycle that Clemson went after in the transfer portal, and they did not land him. He went to Georgia Tech. Brent Key's an offensive line guy, and they've improved a ton since he's been there. They got Haynes King coming back. Their running backs coming back. They're going to be a very challenging offense. And for a Clemson defense last year that couldn't stop a nosebleed when it came to running the football, that's a concern, right? It has to be. And I know Tom Allen has been hired, and we expect a huge dividends from Tom Allen in year one. But again, you have to at least be concerned going into Georgia Tech and playing that game with an offense that is going to physically challenge you at the line of scrimmage when it comes to running the football. Oh, and not to mention Haynes King can just run quarterback counter about 27 times in the game and probably get 10 first downs, right? So that's definitely a concern. That's a game that Clemson fans should be concerned about. Obviously, the first one, LSU, that's a game that you're concerned about. It's not going to be an easy game, right? There's already been a ton of banter back and forth. Brian Kelly kind of doing the whole Death Valley Junior thing and throwing some shade at Clemson and their fans and stuff like that. I don't want to get into this on your show, Jackson, but Death Valley is in Clemson, South Carolina. It always has been. It always will be. Look it up. Our stadium was dubbed Death Valley 11 years before LSU was. It's not my fault that their fans can't read or spell good enough to know the difference between deaf and death. Okay? I'll leave that there. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of LSU fans. It is what it is. It's not your name. You copied Clemson. Granted, I would have done the same thing if I was LSU, because Death Valley is a lot cooler of a name than Death Valley. So
here's my question. When Brian Kelly was running his mouth about Clemson, was he doing it in a Valley Girl voice?
He's probably got that voice in him. We know he's got the fake Louisiana accent. He's probably got a fake Southern accent in there. He's got He's got a Valley Girl accent in there. He can blend in anything. Brian Kelly, he'll figure it out.
His PR manager is saying, just say like totally, and everything will be okay. Like totally, girlfriend.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
that's not how we all sound in California. Man,
that's funny. But yeah, besides all the banter back and forth between the fan bases and the real Death Valley and all that stuff, this is truly going to be a tough game. I mean, make no mistake about it. I don't see either team blowing either opponent out. Whether Clemson ends up winning the game, LSU ends up winning the game. I see a very close game. I see a game that's going down to the fourth quarter. It's going to be a tough game. And when you look at LSU, they're going to have an explosive offense. With Garrett Nussmeier coming back, he's one of the Heisman front runners. They got them transfer wide receivers coming in. So they're going to look to have an explosive offense. I think one of the concerns for LSU, if you're looking at Clemson, is Clemson's front four on the defense, right? and you're breaking in a bunch of brand new offensive linemen, and I know you went to the portal and you think you got some good ones and it's going to work out, but that tends to be a position group that needs a lot of continuity and a lot of chemistry when it comes to performing to the level that you need them to. And are they going to be ready week one? I don't know. That's a question. They very well may be, but that's definitely a question mark coming into the game for LSU. So that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a close one. Obviously, one that Clemson fans are already talking about and have been for the entire offseason.
Well, I mean, they haven't won a season opener since 2019. Unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
But I know Clemson's had some trouble, unfortunately. So it's in season openers.
Yeah, absolutely. Clemson has not done well in season openers. I think we're maybe one for the last three or something like that when it comes to season openers. Obviously lost to Georgia last year in the season opener. Lost to Duke in the season.
2023.
Yeah, in 2023, lost to Duke in the season opener. That was a tough game. That was
Chat was trolling you and Jordan that night in 2023, man.
That was a tough night, dude. That was a tough night. That post game live was simulcasted on both our channel, Clemson at the Voice of College Football, and then Mark Rogers' main channel. And not to mention, it was a Labor Day night game, so it was a Monday night standalone game. Everybody watched us get our tails kicked. Everybody watched that we couldn't hold on to the ball inside the 5-yard line to save our lives. Cade Klubnik's fumbling the ball everywhere. It was just a comedy of errors, and it was a horrible game. And we got the business in the post-game live, as we should have. But that was a tough one. That was a tough post-game live to navigate through for an hour and a half.
But here's something to make that pain go away. Revenge on November 1st in Death Valley.
That's right. The Duke Blue Devils coming to the Valley. They're going to get it. They are going to get it. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind about that game. We will. Got no doubts we'll beat Duke. I think they'll be a good team this year. Not going to lie. I think Duke will be a pretty good team this year. But again, I don't think they have what it takes to beat this Clemson Tiger team this year.
I just don't see it in Manny Diaz. I'm just not seeing that, honestly. Yeah. There's the ACC title game rematch on October 18th, and I can't really think of any significant Boston College Clemson games except for like 2007, where like Matt Ryan threw a game winner on that night to clinch the Atlantic division. But other than that, that's all I could think of for Clemson Boston College. Because
we've played them a ton of times, like on their red bandana game, and that, but they're never particularly close. Like I always feel bad when they like pick Clemson to be the red bandana game for Boston College, because it's like, why, man? Like we're just going to throttle you. Like it's not like that's a game you would think you would want to win, but yeah, not a whole lot of close games there. To be completely honest, SMU is definitely interesting. You think about them defending. Or the rematch from the ACC championship game. Obviously, they're going to want to try to avenge their loss. They gave Clemson all they wanted in that game, and but again, that's a team that's replacing a lot. I think they're replacing their entire offensive line, possibly. I don't know exactly. SMU fans will have to remind me. I don't know fully, but I know they're replacing quite a bit off of that team. And specifically the offensive line. So again, much like I stated with LSU, I don't think that's a good recipe against this Clemson Tigers defense, because I think they are going to be a very intense group in the front seven. So if we can stay healthy and, correct the things that need to be corrected as far as the running game goes, I think that'll tip in Clemson's favor for sure.
Yeah. And there's Florida State, Louisville to end the conference slate.
Yeah, those are two interesting games to end the ACC conference play for the year. Again, this is, we talk about this sometimes too, me and Jordan off air and stuff like that. And I'll ask you, Jackson, what do you think of Florida State? Like, what do you realistically think Florida State's going to be this year? Because, it's kind of hard to figure them out. obviously the year before last they went 13-0 and got left out of the playoffs. Everybody knows that story, and then they got beat like a drum in the bowl game against Georgia, right? But had a great
And all off season was we're going to
all off
leave
season. They
you.
were
We're
just
going to
puffing
leave
their
you to
chest out, talking smack about how we should have been in the playoffs and blah 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 blah. Bringing a bunch of transfer portal players again, and it blew up in their face. It didn't work. So 1 year heavy transfer portal, 13-0. The next year heavy transfer portal, 2-10. What the heck are we going to see from Florida State this year? I don't really know what to think of them, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know if Mike Norvell can get this turned around. I don't know if he can make a sufficient enough growth in order to save his job. I know Gus Malzahn is there as offensive coordinator now, which is really weird. I don't think I ever thought I would say that. But again, he is making changes. He's not going to call the offense anymore. He's trying to switch things up. But again, this is going to be another year of heavy transfer portal. Like Mike Norvell,
7-5, 7-5, 8-4, sits and sits is Florida State for 2025.
Yeah, I think so as well. I don't think they'll nearly be as bad as 2-10. I think they will be improved. But again, it's hard to say that there'll be anything more than kind of a middle of the road in the conference as far as teams. So that game doesn't worry me a ton, to be completely honest. But how the schedule falls here, I want everybody listening to kind of pay attention. So you play FSU on Saturday, November 6th, right? And then you have a what is that?
Oh, that's the 8th. My bad.
The 8th, yeah. Yeah, I can't really see. And then on a short week, you're going to Louisville. At Louisville on a Friday night. Louisville's probably going to be a dog in this game. You know how that goes, Jackson. You've watched enough college football to know road dogs on a Friday night does not bode well for the favored team that's coming into that team's house, right? So that's a game that worries me. Also, let's rewind back to 2024, Jackson. And what did Louisville do to Clemson last year in 2024? Well, they did nothing more than they rolled into Death Valley and absolutely manhandled Clemson and embarrassed us in our own stadium on our own field in front of our own fans. Like, it was a bad game from start to finish. Louisville dominated Clemson last year. They got out physicaled in every aspect of the game last year. So, with that said, Clemson's going to have some motivation, some revenge factor heading into this Friday night game against Louisville. But the way that it falls for me, I would feel much better if this was on a Saturday. I really would. But the fact that it's Friday, you're traveling on a short week, you just got playing Florida State. Again, who knows how good they're going to be, but it's still Florida State, right? You're on a short week. You're traveling to Louisville. It's Friday night. Everybody's going to be watching. Louisville's going to be a home dog. They're obviously not afraid of you because look what they did to you last year, right? So that's a concerning game. If you're a Clemson fan or another fan and you're just looking for, possible speed bumps or hiccups on the schedule for Clemson this year, that's one you should circle and pay attention to because that could potentially be a game where this Clemson team could get tripped up.
And then there's South Carolina to end the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those games that we've actually we've lost a couple at home over the past 3 years. Lost 2 at home. The Gamecocks have beaten us back to back at home, and Lenore Sellers last year absolutely just ran all over Clemson. We couldn't stop him. The only guy that could stop him was Sammy Brown. And for whatever reason, our defensive staff decided to sit Sammy Brown in the entire fourth quarter. He didn't touch the field. So that was a boneheaded decision by the defensive staff that didn't make any sense to me. But Lenore Sellers just completely eviscerated this defense last year, right? So, and that doesn't make me happy to have to say that. But I do think that this is going to set up nicely for Clemson. I think South Carolina is going to be a really good team this year. This isn't going to be your typical South Carolina game where, South Carolina's bad and Clemson should just roll over them. It's going to be a serious competition game, right? But unfortunately for South Carolina fans, we play really well in Willie Bryce, and we win a whole lot there, a whole lot more than they win there when it comes to playing us. So that'll be a fun game to kind of dive into a little bit later in the season as we see who these two teams become. But in-state rivalry, that's always a big one, man, and that's a goal on the schedule every year. You got to win the state. So hopefully we can get our get back this year against Lenore Sellers and the rest of the Gamecocks.
I will say Shane Beamer's given Clemson a lot of trouble because you didn't get any trouble from Will Muschamp. He just got laid down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. He was not a very difficult one to deal with. But yeah, Shane Beamer, he's definitely done a decent job at South Carolina. I can't say that he hasn't. He's done pretty well there. Unfortunately, because I hope all bad things for South Carolina. I hope they never win another game, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, he is his father's son. So
yeah, for sure.
Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see like South Carolina play Thursday night games, kind of like how Virginia Tech did with Frank Beamer.
Maybe
where it's like I want to see that very badly. I want to see. I want to see some SEC schools go back playing Thursday night football. As a bit may compete with the NFL. Why would I have a problem with flipping between an NFL game and a college football game? That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, I'm probably just going to watch the college football game, if I'm being honest.
That's fine. There you go. Yeah, I mean, like I'll be watching the Amazon Prime NFL game here on my laptop, and then I'll find a way to pull up the college football game on my phone while I'm doing the Alabama College show.
There you go. Yeah. Multitasking at its finest.
Hey, I mean, I'm watching both games and doing a call-in show.
Hey, they don't get any better than that.
There you go, man. But I will say, I feel like Clemson can go 11-1. I think Georgia Tech's their only loss, but I think they get Georgia Tech in the ACC title game.
That'd be a lot of fun. Speaking of Georgia Tech in the ACC title game, we need our get back from Georgia Tech as well. If anybody knows anything about Dabo Swinney and Clemson, that is the only team to ever beat a Dabo Swinney-led Clemson team in the ACC championship game. And when that happened, C.J. Spiller was the running back and had an absolute amazing game. Anybody who hadn't or hasn't watched the game or hasn't watched it in a long time, go back and watch C.J. Spiller in that game. And then, if your prediction were to happen this year, Jackson, we would be back in the ACC championship game. Dabo would still be the coach of Clemson, and C.J. Spiller wouldn't be on the field anymore, but he is the running backs coach at Clemson. So it'd be kind of becoming full circle at that point, and we can get our get back while C.J. gets his get back as well. So I would love to play Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game this year. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, like 2009, where it was like Clemson, Georgia Tech, week 2, Thursday night football. Unfortunately, Clemson gets beat on Thursday night.
Yeah.
But then like Georgia Tech beat you guys in the 2009 title game. But on the bright side, we get to see revenge come and go for Georgia Tech Clemson 16 years later.
That's right. Let's do it. Pencil it in. It's going to happen.
But I want to see Georgia Tech get revenge on Georgia because I don't want to hear Joe Tessitore.
Man, that was
talking about.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like Jesse Palmer was worried about those women on Food Network and The Bachelorette than he was about Georgia Tech. It's like I feel like neither one of those guys did their due diligence on that game.
Yeah.
They didn't research on how many times it was played on a non-Friday. They didn't do that. All they talked about was Georgia. Not a thing about Georgia Tech. Not a thing about Georgia Tech's roster. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. All they talked about was Georgia's playoffs hopes. That's fine if you're talking about Georgia's playoffs hopes. But while you're at it, talk about Georgia Tech's roster. Talk about how many times the clean old-fashioned hate rivalry has been played on a non-Saturday. Like, talk about that. But you didn't do that, Testor. You didn't do that, Palmer. You're thinking about those women on The Bachelorette on ABC. You're thinking about that stupid Food Network show.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I'm with you 100% on that. And that was a crazy game last year, man. Like, Georgia Tech should have won that game. But they didn't. So they didn't get it done. And we'll see. We'll see what they can muster up this season because, honestly, I think Georgia Tech's going to be a really good team. Georgia obviously will be as well. But I think Georgia Tech's going to be really, like I said before, when I was talking about Clemson versus Georgia Tech, I think Brent Key is the guy down there, man. Like he's really got something going. And it's kind of cool to watch. I tell you, the one thing about Georgia Tech that really has been irritating me lately, and this is kind of off topic from who they are on the football field. They got to stop selling their home games, dude. Like, what are we doing here? Like, playing your home games in the Georgia or in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, like, stop doing that, man. Like, go to Bobby Dodd, play it in Bobby Dodd. Like, I don't know. As a fan, if I was a Georgia Tech fan, that would piss me off. So that's just my
so wrong.
Like, you got to stop selling your home games to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I know it's about money and all that kind of stuff. That's where they're playing the Georgia Tech game this year. It's in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's going to be all Georgia fans. Why would you do that? That's crazy.
Oh, well, here's one that'll really drive you and I both nuts. Here it is. This is really dumb on what they're doing. Like, what are they doing?
What is that?
In that,
what?
It's a piece of crap, is what it is. Invesco QQQ Atlanta Gridiron Classic. Jesus.
Atlanta Gridiron Classic.
These people need Jesus. These people need Jesus.
What is going on? See, this is the crap I'm talking about, man. This is ridiculous. Look at this.
Oh my God.
This is not a rivalry game.
That's bad.
That's not a rivalry game. Like, what is that? That's
got me so mad I threw my hat on the ground.
We've done enough. We've done enough to erode the fabric of what makes college football so different and so great, in my opinion. We've done enough in the past 5 to 7 years of eroding the fabric of college football. Now we're doing this with rivalry games. Rivalry weekend, we're going to be playing in NFL stadiums and making these stupid looking graphics. Like, that's what we're doing. Rivalry games should be played in a college football stadium, not sold out to some big NFL product so that you can make a couple extra. Like, I'm out on that. That's ridiculous. They should be ashamed of themselves.
They should be. Like, it had me so mad I threw my hat on the ground.
I can't believe Brent Key signs off on stuff like that. Like, he doesn't seem like the guy.
It's Brent Key. I don't think it's Brent Key making that.
I don't think it is either. He don't seem like the guy that would like be okay with that. I don't know if he has any say in it or not. Like, it could be just the athletic department making those decisions, but he don't seem like a guy that would like that. But as a fan, like, if I was a Georgia Tech fan, I'd absolutely hate that. I'd hate it as a Georgia fan too. Like, why are we? What? Like, it's a rivalry game. You play it in each other's stadium. That's the whole point of it. That's that's what makes it intense and different and like different than any other game you play that season. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, the plain old-fashioned hay rivalry. Like, why are people constantly taking a dump on that rivalry game?
Yeah.
I mean, jeez, it's so wrong. Don't like that. Like, that logo is a big giant dump on that rivalry. Well, it is.
That's ridiculous, man. I honestly
hate it.
Even another one like the Florida-Georgia rivalry. They played in Jacksonville every year. I think that's stupid. I think that is dumb. They should play it in the swamp, and they should play it at Georgia Stadium. Like, between the hedges. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we playing at neutral sites for rivalry games? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I don't like, and I know they've been doing it forever, but like, whatever, stop it. That's a dumb that's a dumb tradition.
The neutral
Stop
site
playing it in
for
Jackson.
rivalry should only be applied to Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia. Other than that, nobody else. You
Yeah.
didn't do it that long. Like Georgia, Georgia Tech, home and home.
Yeah.
Alabama, Auburn, home and home. I mean, that'd be like putting Ohio State, Michigan at Ford Field.
Right.
I don't think that would end well with a lot.
No. Them two fan bases are probably riot, dude. There ain't no way that's going down. Absolutely not.
Oh, dude! Like, you ever go like some of these Michigan channels, Ohio State channels? They get nuts.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Like, that would be like the that would be like the one cause they would unite over. Like, they would be writing.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Those athletic directors, whoever made those decisions, they better be careful because that would not go over well at all.
Oh man, like I think the Georgia Tech athletic director, like whoever decided this was a good idea,
whoever made that,
double check with the fan base.
Yeah, whoever made that decision, they might want to start looking for that person's replacement because that's a dumb decision. I think selling home games in general is a dumb decision, but selling that one, of all the home games that you were going to sell, you sold the Georgia home game. What are we doing? Like,
what they have there is failure to communicate.
No doubt about it. But yeah,
some athletic directors don't listen to the fans or the world of college football.
That's their problem. They don't know anything about football. Making stupid decisions.
Exactly. They just like think of it as a gig.
Yeah, they're like,
learn the hard way.
They're like, oh, we'd make so much money. Like, sometimes it's not all about the money, okay? Like, sometimes you just got to protect some traditions in college football. Like, we make every other change in college football based off of money. Can we just protect rivalries? Like, is that too much to ask?
Can we also bring back Penn State Pittsburgh on an annual basis and put it on rivalry week? Hey, I will like lobby for it if I have to. If I gotta move to Pennsylvania and make sure like the state legislature like makes that a state law, I will. I mean, South Carolina got that for Clemson, South Carolina. I want to see that for Penn State Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'll vote for anybody that says I will reinstate the Penn State Pittsburgh rivalry and will not let you down. Oh, you got my vote. Oh man, I mean, and I'm a little worried about like Notre Dame USC, but it's just like I feel like there's going to be enough pressure that kind of makes them go, oh no, actually we weren't going to get rid of the rivalry. We were just talking, we were just venting at the salon.
USC sounds so weak when they say stupid stuff like that. Like, like, bro, come on, how weak do you sound?
I don't even think it's
we're in the Big Ten now, so we can't afford to play Notre Dame. Like, what? Why?
And yet you have to travel to Purdue or Indiana.
Like, that's the dumbest thing. You can absolutely play them in the non-con. Like, believe me, you'll be okay. You'll be okay, USC. Don't cry about it.
Like, I don't think it's the fans making that decision.
No. I don't think it's the fans at all. This is like stupid administrators and stuff. Like
Jen Cohen.
Yeah. Like
Jen Cohen and like Lincoln Riley didn't make a move to the SEC because he was afraid of getting his butt beat at Florida and LSU. So he decides, I'm going to go to USC. This will be a little easier. No, USC's going to go to the Big Ten.
How'd that work out for you?
Like if this backfires, which I'm sure it will. Like if USC is to go through and get rid of the Notre Dame rivalry, and they still have 8-win seasons, you're going to see Lincoln Riley on a scorching hot seat where it's like, you got 4 games, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, his seat's heating up as we speak. He's got some. This is a big year for Lincoln Riley in Southern Cal. Lincoln Riley's got some stuff to prove this year that he's actually going to turn this thing around and put a decent defense on the field that can compete with an offense.
Well, one thing's for sure. I think Riley's the better Riley at the moment.
That's right. That's right. We'll keep Garrett. We'll keep Garrett. He's doing a good job. We'll keep him.
We need to ask him what he would do with USC Notre Dame, but although that would kind of create some conflict with his bro. So
Yeah, he don't want no part of that. He don't want to answer that.
No, it's like that, but it's a dumb move to get rid of Notre Dame USC because it's like it kills all college football. Although, like, I think Notre Dame Clemson is a pretty good series, but I'm gonna wait and see on that being an annual thing. Honestly, it's like,
yeah, I hope that it lasts. When I first heard about it, I thought it was great. Like, I mean, Clemson Notre Dame have been some of the craziest games over the past little while now, right? I mean, you think about the 2015 Hurricane game and all that craziness, right? Like, so it's had some crazy results over the years playing them. So I really do hope it lasts. I think it's great for Clemson. I think it's good. I think it's great for Notre Dame as well. Will it last? I don't know. There's so much weird stuff with scheduling and realignment and all kind of craziness. Like, I don't know that it lasts. But if it does, it would make me very happy.
well, in 2020, the COVID game, that was a pretty good one. Although
crazy one.
it got moved out. It got moved over to the USA Network because they didn't have it on NBC for obvious reasons, off-air stuff, the non-sport stuff.
Yeah.
But that changed our lives forever, I guess. But oh man, but that was a pretty good one. So there's that, and
Yeah, that was if anybody remembers that game you're referencing, that's when DJU looked like he knew what he was doing at quarterback. And we were like, he had 2 games back to back there. When Trevor was out with COVID, that he absolutely balled out, and we were like, man, it sure is going to suck to lose Trevor Lawrence, but this dude looks amazing. We're going to be all right. Spoiler alert.
And he was mid.
We were, in fact, not all right.
He was mid.
We were not all right.
Sorry, Jeffrey, using your word. Oh man. But as you would say, well.
That's what DJ.
There you go.
that's what.
There we go. One of these days, that quote's gonna get trademarked. We're gonna get that. That's gonna be on a T-shirt. They're gonna be like, "Oh, where are you hearing that from?" Are we?
Yeah, we should. We should put it on a T-shirt.
But I will say though, it's funny that people say, "Oh, Notre Dame's irrelevant without the USC rivalry." It's like, I don't know. Those are the same people that said Notre Dame was irrelevant without the Michigan rivalry. The same people that say Notre Dame's, they're still gonna. Notre Dame is gonna live rent free in their heads. Honestly, I'm not even a Notre Dame fan, and I recognize this. The people that whine and cry about them. They'll cry about Notre Dame being in the ACC. They'll cry about Notre Dame being in the Big Ten. They're going to cry about Notre Dame. It's like, I don't care. Notre Dame's going to do what does best for Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
I don't hold it.
Look, here's the thing, and I understand a lot of the flack that Notre Dame does get. People don't like that they're not in a conference. People don't like that they get special treatment and they get access to these big time decisions in college football. And they're not in a conference, right? And I understand that. Like back in 2020, when Notre Dame became a full member of the ACC in football for one season. Shout out to Clemson, by the way, ACC, if you're watching, and you're welcome. We saved the conference yet again because it would have been endless if Notre Dame would have won the ACC the only year that they were a full member in football.
Yeah.
That would have been a terrible thing for the ACC and college football as a whole, probably. So everybody out there, thank Clemson for that. You're welcome. We did the same thing last year with SMU. Nothing against SMU, but you can't have somebody move up to a Power 4 conference and win it year one. So you're welcome, everybody. Clemson bailed out the ACC once again. But a lot of people in the ACC, a lot of fans of teams in the ACC, they're pissed off at Notre Dame a lot. And the reason being is because the ACC lets Notre Dame do whatever they want. If I was Notre Dame, I'd be doing the same exact thing. Why? Because the ACC lets me do it. So why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's the ACC's fault. It's not Notre Dame. The ACC is the one that keeps letting them do it. So if you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at the ACC because they're a bunch of incompetent fools. Why this conference is in the shape that it's in right now.
Well, I think we're going to be seeing Clemson leave for the SEC eventually, which I feel like that would be a great move because you not only make South Carolina a conference game, but you make Georgia an annual opponent as well. And I got to be real. I want to see Clemson Georgia be an annual game again. Like I know it was like before my lifetime, but it was cool seeing that game on an annual basis.
Yeah, man. There's a ton of great games within the Clemson Georgia lore there, but yeah, I mean, look, as far as conference realignment and all that stuff, I think everybody knows that it's not over. Like we're not at our end state of what college football is going to be or is moving to. What does that look like? Is it just going to be like two super conferences that are the SEC and Big Ten? I don't know. Or is college football going to break off completely and become its own type thing? Who knows there? But certainly when you're thinking about the conferences that Clemson would want to go to, it'd be the SEC or the Big Ten, right? Those are the only two conferences that you would leave your current situation and go to, right? And it feels like, to me, Clemson feels like an SEC type of team, right? They feel like they would fit a lot better culturally and all the other stuff within the Southeastern Conference, right? Not that I would be like, oh God, that's terrible. We're in the Big Ten, right? As long as Clemson's taken care of and does what's best for them, I'm cool with it. But they certainly do feel more like an SEC team than a Big Ten team to me.
I wish we could see like Florida State, Miami, and Georgia Tech go with Clemson to the SEC for teams 17 through 20 and basically trade Missouri to the Big 12 for Oklahoma State. But I know that's not happening.
Right.
It just only happens. It only happens in my world.
Yeah, they're not going to kick people out of the conference. Although the SEC probably
or trade them.
They probably wish they could trade teams or kick people out of the conference. But luckily for the lower schools in the SEC, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no. But that'd be like the only trades I'd make in college football for conference realignment would be Rutgers to the ACC for Pittsburgh so Pitt can play Penn State on rivalry week on Black Friday or Thanksgiving every year.
It came full circle. We're still talking about this Penn State Pittsburgh rivalry.
Only on the Jacksonian we would. and Missouri gets traded to the Big 12 for Oklahoma State, so Missouri can play Kansas every year, then go back play Iowa State, Kansas State annually, and Oklahoma State could go back to play Oklahoma every year and being a thorn in Texas' side.
There you go. You got it all figured out. You got it all figured out.
I did my best.
Jackson Johnson for commissioner.
Well, I'll have to really think about though, and I'll have to think about who I'd have in power. Like I just want the scheduling power and the realignment power.
Man. Yeah. It'd be a lot of fun.
There we go. Oh man. Well, I will say we've got a wild ride ahead of us, and as of filming, it's only 28 days till the Crimson Tide start their season and the Clemson Tigers start their season. But, Everybody else do the math. How many days it is till kickoff? Well, who am I kidding? I'm in the chat letting everybody know, of course. Oh, man.
That's right. I can't wait, man. College football's right around the corner. You know it when the conference media days start happening and fall camp starts kicking off. It's right around the corner, man. It's gonna be a wild ride. Week one's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Like week one is gonna be a lot of fun. You know, you got Ohio State and Texas, Clemson, LSU, Florida State, Alabama. You know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Week one is gonna be a blast.
Agreed. Well, TPC, it was a fun episode. And for those who don't know about you and want to learn more, where can they find you?
Yeah, obviously you can find me on Twitter or on X, excuse me, TPC_CFB, TPC_CFB. That's where you can find me over on X. Post a lot about what we do on Clemson at the Voice of College Football, our cut-ups, our videos, reminders of our live show. I post about Clemson, about college football, you know, and then a little bit of trolling on the South Carolina fans there because, you know, that's always fun. And then lately the LSU fans with the Death Valley stuff. That's been fun as well. So you can find me over there. And then also on YouTube, you can find me at Clemson at the Voice of College Football. Me and Jordan Bowman do a weekly show there every Thursday, 7 p.m. Come check us out. We love to chop it up with the fans. We always schedule our show and we do a planned portion of the show. And then at the end for the last 30, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long our show is going, we chop it up with you guys, the fans, in the live chat section, answer your questions, and let you guys kind of just drive the show from there. And it's a lot of fun chopping it up with you guys because that's what makes the channel special. So if you haven't seen us before, go check us out on Clemson at the Voice of College Football. Ton of content over there. And then as we get into the season, we will pick up doing the post-game live videos as well, getting our raw live reaction to every single Clemson game for the 2025 season. So that sounds like something you're interested in. Come check us out. You don't have to be a Clemson fan. We got Notre Dame fans in there. We got South Carolina fans in there. We got all sorts of different fan bases in there, and we enjoy chopping it up with other fan bases as well. So come check us out, Clemson at the Voice of College Football. Give us a like, give us a follow, and come hang out with us for the 2025 season.
There you go. Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Post about the magic that Tiger Paul Craven and Jordan bring Thursday nights on Clemson Tigers Live on Clemson at the Voice of College Football. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss it. And also give Jordan Bowman a follow on Jobo0209. Let me tell you, they've got some magic all over the place on Clemson football. I mean, I don't know if these are your go-to guys for Clemson athletes, but these are my go-to guys for Clemson athletes, and they should be yours too.
Thanks, Jackson. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. And, of course, you can check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I collaborate with my good buddy Sports Talk with Austin, Will and D, and I collaborate with Jeffrey from time to time on this channel, all right here on Jackson Johnson 979. And I've got numerous episodes of the Jacksonian, including the other 26 episodes that you won't want to miss. And you can like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video or episode whatsoever. And, we'll get close to 1,000 subs before you know it. And you can check me out on Alabama with the Voice of College Football Monday nights on Crimson Tide Live, 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Coach Burks, Jeffrey Only Talk Sports, and myself. And on the College Show, where Jeffrey and I take your calls Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can give me a follow on @/Twitter on Jackson VOCFB and Jackson Johnson 543908 on Instagram and Threads. And you can check out more on Alabama College Football on your social media platform on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Alabama VOCFB. And with that being said, we wish you all a happy weekend and to stay safe, stay cool, stay away from that miserable heat. And like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video or episode whatsoever. And we will see you soon. Good night, everybody.
Go Tigers.